Hey guys, what's up? Zax here. Today we are here with a brand new series. This is F1 2001 Career Mode, and today we are here in Australia for the first round of the season, and this is qualifying. So basically every episode is going to contain one lap from qualifying, my fastest lap, and then also the full race as well. And I really would appreciate support on this brand new series, guys. I know you guys really do enjoy these sort of classic Formula 1 videos, and Championship Edition hopefully will be returning in a month or so don't worry about that. But you can see here my qualifying lap, not exactly going to plan as the Prost getting in my way here, and he actually goes all the way around the outside and off the track to maintain the position here in qualifying. It's a bit frustrating trying to get around this guy. I'm not too sure exactly who it is, but he's all over the place and he's not letting me have the position even though I'm much faster. And as you can see on your screens, we're driving with Jordan for this whole season here, and it should be pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to this a lot actually. I got it set up, my G27 wheel and everything. It's not exactly the best sort of quality in the world, but what would you expect? This game was made like over 10 years ago, nearly 15 years ago this game was made, so the quality obviously won't be amazing, but on the PC it does look a lot better than it would on the PS2. This is the EA Sports version of the game. I think there's another version of the game as well, but this is the EA Sports version, and I've got to say it is really fun as well. Getting it set up the wheel was a little bit tricky, as I said a minute ago, but it was worth it because this is a lot of fun. It's very different to obviously F1 2014, but it's still a huge amount of fun. So go around the final couple of corners here in Australia, a little bit all over the place because I really have no experience on this game. I did do a little bit of practice beforehand to try and get the difficulty about right, and I think it is about right, but overall my quality of my driving might not be perfect straight away, but hopefully it will get better over the season. And here are the qualifying results, and you can see there Ferrari look out the front row of the grid, which is good for them but not so good for us because obviously Ferrari are very fast. Got a good qualifying result there for us. 5th place on the grid is actually pretty good. Completely owning our teammate in the qualifying battle here. We're going to see in a second. He's way down the grid. Alonso in his maiden year in Formula 1 is in 13th. And where's my teammate? There he is, John Lacey, 18th position on the grid. We've done a very good job to out-qualify by that much. And we look towards the back end of the grid. Jenson Button starting way down there at the back of the grid. So in this series, I'm going to be doing 10% races. So for this race, it's 5 laps here round Australia. We're doing manual gears and everything as well. The lights are out and away we go here in Australia. And a pretty mediocre start. Wasn't really that special as we see Ralf Schumacher in the Williams there going in front of us down to turn 1. We're leaving space on the inside. Luckily for us, no one dives it down the inside down to turn 1, and we retain our 5th position that we qualified in. Ralf Schumacher's not had the best of runs through here, and we're looking down the inside very late on the brakes, not even meaning to overtake Mika Häkkinen there, but we've managed to sort of lunge our way there into 3rd place on the race, and I'm pretty surprised about that. I wasn't actually going for 3rd place there. I was just aiming to get past Ralf Schumacher, but you can see on the first lap here the massive difference between the AI on this game and the AI on F1 2014, for example. The AI are just so quick on this first lap, and of course I make a little slight mistake there on my first lap. Cold tyres, cold brakes, everything, and Mika Häkkinen gets past, but we go for the move back right away down the inside of Häkkinen and get back 3rd place, and on the last place on the podium as well will be an extremely great start to this, but we're already 3.5 seconds behind Barrichello. I think I've got to say that was a lot down to my little mistake, and obviously going very sideways, Häkkinen getting past, and look at this, Häkkinen going back past once again. I think the AI pretty much cut that corner there, and once again we use his slipstream down the inside of the McLaren and get back 3rd place once again. But all this battling has really just enabled the Ferraris to get away. Look at this gap, 5.4 seconds on the first lap. We complain in F1 2014 that the AI are so slow on the first lap, but there's the other extreme on this game. The AI is just so fast on the first lap. But anyway, coming around to complete the first lap of 5 here in Australia, and there won't be any pit stops in this race. I was a little bit confused about the setting up of the pit stops and everything, but this race there will be no pit stops for this first season of this career mode. Maybe we'll go into the future, there might be more, but I really at the moment just don't have the time to go and do longer and longer races in these series, and hopefully you guys do understand that. But anyway, Häkkinen not that close behind. He's about a second behind at the moment, but we're sort of matching Barrichello at the moment, which is good through this first sector or so of this lap, which is good to see. And really, I think the first and the second sector are the ones we're all right in. The last sector seems to be a bit on and off. But once again, we make a mistake through this corner right here. And exactly the same line, pretty much. Exactly the same outcome. Mika Häkkinen goes and gets the move done. I'm not too sure what it is through that corner, but we don't seem to get it right. And now we have a bit of a more optimistic move down the inside of Häkkinen there, but we don't know how really that happened. But Häkkinen goes very sideways on the exit of the corner and managed to get him back. So Häkkinen, maybe I just put him under a bit of a pressure there, and he actually, fell for the pressure and ended up losing the position. And this is the part of the track where I lose so much time through that part of the track there. The AI seem to take that so much faster and also seem to cut the corner a little bit. So I'm not too sure they cheat maybe a little bit there, but that's just how it is in this game. That's how the sort of the line that they're programmed to take. So what sort of time are we going to be back from Barrichello on the second lap? So obviously the battle once again with Häkkinen isn't going to be helping us out in terms of the time to Barrichello. But as we go around the final corner here in Australia, we've sort of once again pulled out a little bit of a gap here to Häkkinen. The gap was 7, 8, 9 tenths up to a second as we cross the start-finish line here at 8 seconds to Barrichello. Those Ferraris, I went and looked at the standings for the 2001 season, and wow, Barrichello didn't really have the best of seasons, but Michael Schumacher absolutely dominated the 2001 season in real life. So I think it's pretty unrealistic to think they'll be racing with the Ferraris anyway, but maybe the McLarens would have been a bit closer if I wasn't in the way. But I'm not gonna lie, guys, I thought I did a pretty good job here on lap number 3. I calmed myself down on this part of the track here. I didn't get it perfect, but I managed to do it a lot better without running off the track. Got it slowed down, and look at that, a lot better there. And we've actually closed the gap to Barrichello through that first sector there, which is really good. And you'll also notice throughout this series a lot more retirements in the race. It's not just like one car retires ever so often in these races, like in, for example, the recent Codemasters games where we saw that. Maybe about 3 or 4 cars regularly retire in these races, which is, I think, good to see. It's nice to see the AI actually make mistakes and actually have the AI retiring from the races. And I suppose part of that you can say was back then that the reliability was a lot worse. And if you look to sort of 2014, 2013, the reliability most part of the seasons was very, very good. So I suppose you can't really have an unrealistic way in that having a car retire all the time when it doesn't in real life. So I suppose you can sort of say that, but I think I always like to see cars like the AI cars actually do mistakes, crash into stuff, because they do in real life, so why didn't they do it in the game? And I think it's good to see. And over that lap there to Barrichello, I matched him, which was good to see. But it's just annoying, those first 2 laps I made some really big mistakes and meant that I lost a load of time. So lap number 4 or 5 here, as I said, no pit stops or anything, so we won't be thinking about pitting at all. But about this game, it is really sort of hard to judge the gears that you take certain corners with. You can get very sideways there. But I had to really learn that the cars don't react the same way to changing gears and stuff that they do in the most recent Formula 1 games. When you shift down the gears, especially if you're not in a straight line, the car gets very, very sideways, especially if you're shifting down a bit into a lower gear, for example. Say it was a 3rd gear corner and I accidentally go into 2nd, the car is looking like it's going to spin out a lot of the time. And if you don't brake in a straight line, you're pretty much going sideways anyway, because the car does not like it when you brake and turn. Obviously in real life they don't like it either, but it's not really, doesn't come across that way that much in sort of recent Formula 1 games. I'd say a little bit of a corner cut there, I'm not going to lie, it was a bit of a corner cut, but AI do exactly that line, so whatever. At the end of the day, that's just how it is. And interestingly enough, we've actually closed the gap to Barrichello on this lap, which is actually really good. So a little bit sideways once again through there, now down into the penultimate turn, and oh, we've made a slight mistake all over the grass on the outside, and we've spun it around, get it into neutral, get it shifted up and get the revs going, Alex. Exactly what I do. A very silly mistake there from me. When I was into the braking zone, I was sort of turning into the corner a bit too much, so I turned out the corner onto the grass, and then it spun me around. So that wasn't too great, was it? Now we're down to 6th place with only 1 lap to recover from our mistake here. Now through turn 1 and 2, we've got to catch up to David Coulthard and try and get past him ASAP. And obviously we don't have like loads of laps to get past him. This is it. Now looking to the outside of Coulthard here, that's not going to happen. I managed to get back past him there though. Coulthard gets very sideways. We managed to get the move done, slightly extending the track a bit there, but anyway, doesn't matter too much. We'll sort of gloss over that. And now Ralf Schumacher, obviously know he was actually a very good race car driver, very outshadowed or overshadowed by his brother obviously, but he was actually a very good driver. He didn't really have the equipment to go ahead and get a championship, but he was actually a very good driver. Now, Ralf Schumacher very sideways, and look at this. What is he doing? He's sliding from one side of the track to the next. I go and lose my front wing, and we've got to finish this last part of the race without a front wing, and we go and turn into this corner here, and it's just not happening. So he's like, what do we do here? We're trying to rejoin the track, and you see that bit of contact there when my car sort of jolted all over the place. That was actually David Coulthard hitting my car. It would have been sort of sweet revenge, if in a way, if Ralf Schumacher was the person that hit my car, but it was actually Coulthard. So really, it was unfortunate. It's just one of those things. There wasn't really much I could have done except maybe go a bit slower, but that's just that. I've got to learn this game, guys, how the car reacts to certain things, and hopefully you guys don't hate me too much for that little mistake there. But final corner, we got Raikkonen right up behind us here. We're going very slowly, obviously, because we don't have our front wing, so we're just making sure we get to the finish here. So we're going to come across the line in 5th place here. And I'm always a bit annoyed when I make, contact with the AI like that. It was just a little bit of a silly mistake on my part, but I've got to learn from those guys. It was my first race on this game, and my first proper race, I should say, on this game, and obviously a lot still to learn about this game and how the cars react. So I think overall a pretty decent race there to come home in 5th place, and obviously points only go down to 6th place in the 2001 season, so I've got to watch out for that. I can't be thinking like 8th place is going to be do me well like it was in like the 2008-9 season when I was like properly watching F1. And yeah, there are the standings. You can see last couple of laps we fell way off the back of the Ferraris, obviously because of our couple of mistakes, and obviously Ralf Schumacher's mistake in there as well. So the retirements, we actually had 3 retirements on that final lap. De La Rosa, Button and Coulthard, and also Heinz-Harald Frentzen ended up retiring on the first lap of the race with his brake problem, which I think is pretty cool to see what they actually retired from. So there's the driver standings, as you'd expect, exactly the same as the standings from the race. And Michael Schumacher, is he going to be unstoppable throughout this whole season? I kind of think so, and look at that, Ferrari leading the constructors as well. But yeah, that's it. Thanks again for watching, guys. I appreciate it, and I'll see you all soon, probably at a week's time for another episode. Goodbye.